So that's what, if you are calling that as a soul, then I accept there is a soul, which is nothing but the original thought of I amness.
See, proof you can only give for physical things, right?
Right.
Non-physical you can't.
Yeah.
Does that mean non-physical doesn't exist?
No, so the question that are we discussing that there is an individual soul in each body? Is that the question?
It doesn't matter. Soul,
No, so that is what I am
consciousness.
discussing.
Simply, what is the
You
difference
take
between a
soul
live body
consciousness
and dead
basically.
body?
See, when we say God exists, we ask for proof. When somebody says God does not exist, we don't ask for proof. Both need to be proved, by the way. That's good.
Right.
If you say that soul does not exist, you need to bring the proofs.
Mhm.
If you don't have a proof, it's just a statement.
Right.
Same way, if somebody says that soul exists, they also need to bring you proof.
Right.
Why should they bring you? If you
Right.
think you have a question that soul does not exist, if you are convinced, you should be convinced eternity.
Right.
But if you're not convinced, then you'll ask questions.
Right.
So you have to solve yourself. That.
So Shiva, look at this way. This table, you are there, this table is there. Will you say Atma is there in you only? Not in the table?
No, that's what I'm saying. I
No,
don't
no,
experience it.
answer that. Will you say Atma is there only in you? In the table there is no Atma.
Actually, he says that Atma is nowhere.
No. His answer should
No,
be.
in the model that you are talking about, only thing that is being experienced right now is the perception. So there's a perception of the table and there's a perception of being inside a body.
From your point of view, you are not perceiving yourself. No?
I am
You
perceiving
are
myself.
being yourself.
Right. I am.
When you are perceiving yourself means you are perceiving your other aspects other than you. Like your mind, you can perceive your thought, you can perceive your body,
The
you can
sensations
perceive
and-
everything you can perceive other than yourself.
Right.
And don't call that the yourself. You have to ask that my.
Right.
My thought, my thinking, my
Right.
body, my perception, my senses, everything is mine,
Right.
not me.
Right. And the me is totally property.
There is something which is calling me in it.
So that I am totally in touch with right now.
You are agreeing that me is there in the process.
Yeah. So
Only when the
not
me
in
is
the process that is giving the
only,
rise to all.
only if me is there, mine is there.
Sorry.
Only if me is there, mine is there.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, the me is there, very bright. It
Yes.
is right now,
Very,
like
very
thousand
bright.
sun, it is there.
Okay,
right.
that's what I'm saying.
Right.
You say you are very bright and you know that you are there.
Right.
Me, no doubt, I am there. So I am is a established fact.
Right.
I am the one who is having thoughts, I am the one who is having feelings, I am the one who is perceiving, smelling, touching, body, everything,
Right.
the world outside. So you have accepted that I am is an entity which is real and you know it exists.
You are not only accepting, I am feeling it like a fire. Right.
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 Right. Now, when it becomes dead body, you say you do not know what is the experience for that dead body unless you die.
Or unless I am in deep sleep also.
No.
The
In,
shutdown.
in deep sleep also you have a memory because of which you come back and say, I had a good sleep. I knew nothing. That you say in the waking. There is a pratyabhijna there. Pratyabhijna means remembrance of knowing nothingness.
Yeah, in this question it's difficult to say because I am not died, right? So,
Exactly. That's what his point.
You have not died.
right.
Right. Now, when you are dead, you cannot say what is your state at that time.
Right.
Right? But you have memory or remembrance to come back and say that I am dead is not possible because the body cannot come back.
Right.
But something which is present with which your bodies were functioning, activities were functioning in the body, prana, etc., has stopped functioning. Right? In a dead body.
Yeah, so I have a problem with the Sanskrit word that you came up with, right? So because I don't experience any prana.
You don't experience your prana in the sense you don't experience your breath coming and going out.
Yeah, so that was the original this one, right? So that I have the very bright experience of all these perceptions.
That is also called prana. So only function wise they have divided into 5, but there is a prana is only one. The function, the same light, when it is there we call it as daytime, when it is not there we call it as night. But day and night are not two separate things. One is present, one is absent.
In fact, Ramanavasya and Nisargadatta Maharaj, they call this as the Moola Maya. The first illusion that has to happen is being of Maya.
Don't listen to any
Yeah, so
statement.
let us.
I am not going to talk to any Maharaja statement
right,
here.
Right. So the first hand
I want
experience.
you to analyze your own experience.
Yeah. So my first hand.
Because the answer is in you.
Right. The first hand experience I see is when the body wakes up, the feeling of I amness comes first, and then all the perceptions and all start getting associated, like what you said, the mind
Okay.
starts. So first thing that comes
Suppose-
up is the me.
suppose-
in that me I don't see the
His
prana.
ask is, when I'm awake, then he's saying, me and all that is perfectly established.
Yes.
But he is not able to reconcile with his deep sleep.
In deep sleep also he is experiencing.
That
You are experiencing of nothingness, Shiva.
Right.
That nothingness is the what you call it as deep sleep.
Right. But
Your eyes were functional, your ears were functional, nobody plugged your ears. If a mosquito comes and sings a song and bites your body, you may not know. So your touch sensation is not there, your sound sensation is not there. Okay, your eyes are closed, I can understand. But you experience the nothingness. Can you deny that?
right. So I experienced nothingness.
Okay.
So
Now,
but I am not able to buy the third party.
now
Right.
wait. You experience nothingness. Who experienced?
So that there was nothing, right? So there was
Who
no
experienced it?
There was that nothingness.
There was nothingness, you experience the nothingness with which when you wake up you say that I knew nothing, I was in deep sleep.
Right.
Mosquito bite, nothing.
Right.
Whether I fell from the cot also I did not know.
Right.
Right? So when anything happens to your body, your ego, your intellect, your mind, your sense organs, your relationship, your fatherhood
Right.
or brotherhood
Not even
or
my
nothing,
body, right? So
not
nothing.
even the individuality
Right.
was known to you.
Right.
But you cannot deny that you did not exist.
Right.
The reason why is that when you wake up, you say, I had a good sleep.
Right.
There should be somebody who experienced that deep sleep, no?
Right.
Who knew nothing, which you call it as deep sleep. Right?
Right.
Now, that entity, suppose if the body doesn't wake up, can it go?
Can it?
Can it die by itself or can it get destroyed?
See, the topic we were discussing was: is there an individual
I am
soul?
coming to that. That question is there.
So
You are
in deep
already,
sleep-
you are there. You are waiting in the threshold to enter the room.
Right.
You are looking back now. From where did I come?
Right.
I'm not asking you to look back and say where you came from.
Mm-hmm.
I am asking in the deep sleep when you knew nothingness, which is a established fact, you existed, you did not know anything.
Right.
And when the death takes place, it is the same thing, the body cannot know anything, which we have seen that. If you poke the body, it doesn't do anything, like the mosquito biting the sleeper, it doesn't do anything. Right? The functions of the body over a period will die down. The blood will clot and all those things will happen because of the natural phenomena. Can we say that the I which was there at the time of the deep sleep and the one which is in the dead body goes through any transformation, any death or anything like that? Because it cannot come back and say doesn't mean it is dead and gone. Because its mind is dead, its eyes are dead, his functions are dead, can you say that that entity did not exist, do not exist? Na jayate mriyate va katachit. When Krishna says that, is what? That which is there in this body as I, not the individuality, the experiencer awareness.
Right.
That na jayate, it is neither it was born, na mriyate, nor is it dying.
Right. So at this point I get, but
So
This does not prove
whether
that
it
there is
is
an individual soul.
whether it is functioning through the individual body or it is present in the dead body, it is not the one which is making the body function.
Right.
The body is functioning because the sense organs and everything are in a functioning condition.
Right.
If the eyes sight goes, doesn't mean the eyes are there, but you can't see. That's what does it mean? The eye has not died. The visibility potency has gone to it.
Right.
Right? Old age we don't hear something. Even if we are abused or we are praised, for us we look like dumb fools. No? What happens? Our hearing capacity is gone. So these are all instruments. Can malfunction and say. This body is another instrument. Vasansi jirnani yada vihaya. So when your instrument becomes worn out, throw that.
So you are making my point, right? Wherein there is only awareness. So the discussion that we had with Anandji and Srinivasji was there are individual souls
Okay.
in each body. I was saying there's no such a
now
thing.
I am coming to, now since you have accepted that,
Right.
is my next level. This lamp is lighting their fire there. Right? Can you call that fire as separate from the other fires in the world?
Yeah, depending on how you want to look at it, right? So there's
Just
only
now you have to be specific. He
So
was
which
specific.
properties are used
One,
to
I am asking this lamp which is having a fire and there is a fire in the kitchen which is cooking.
right.
Is there any difference between this fire and that fire?
Yeah, there is a difference.
What difference is in the fire, not in the size and the what you call instrument and what it is doing.
Right.
Fire as a principle,
Whereas the principle is the same.
same.
Right.
So whether you call this Atma, that as Paramatma, what difference does it make for you?
Right. Nothing.
Nothing.
no, in the sense that anything is always seen with the properties that it has.
Right.
Now, depending on which properties you invoke, that thing actually looks different.
So when it
There
is
is a
functioning,
commonness.
the awareness when it is functioning through your limitation, we call it as Atma. I am Atma Brahma is the Mandukya Upanishad statement. This Atma is Brahma. Brahma means everything. Means everything has got awareness in it. Whether it is perceived or whether it is like a table or whether it is a grain of sand or whether it is the Andromeda or the cosmos which you see through the Hubble telescope or the whatever may be the James telescope. They all are nothing but matter creations created out of.
The only thing is this one comes up with, I think it's a eternal debate wherein, so probably this is what is the difference between Hinduism and Buddhism. In probably Buddhism they say that it's even J. Krishnamurti kind of says, what survives is the stream of sorrow, fear and desires, that's what survives. In Hinduism they say it's an individual entity.
No. Before we digress, look at
Here we have to understand one thing. Each philosopher has given his own version for his experience.
Right.
Buddha was only looking for sorrows and solution for sorrows. He was not interested in finding who he himself was. Incidentally, he, in the search of solution for sorrow, he had to stumble upon nirvana
Right.
by himself because that is the solution for it.
So assuming let's forget all these dead people and we look at our own experiences. So has anyone here experienced something called as a soul within you?
You are experiencing this very moment, otherwise Shiva, you are not talking. No.
See, we are talking to a consciousness.
Are you not conscious of yourself when you are
But
talking?
Shivaji is talking about out of body experience.
Out of body it can be, it is everywhere. How can you have a out of body? Is the air is also made of that? How can you have that? The space is made of that. Tatmad Akasha Sambuddha, Akashat Vayu, Vayu or Agni, Rapaha. Everything is from that.
Yeah, that I experienced, the first hand experience.
Yeah.
Right? So that I am in touch with what you are saying.
Yes.
Because all that I am experiencing is the experiencing, right? So there is no experiencer also.
So how can you bound? You are bringing a boundary because your identification with your physical
Right,
body.
right.
Your physical body how do you say it is your physical body? When if you are looking at only from awareness.
Right. So it's impossible to say that.
Yeah.
Right.
So there is no Atma. or Paramatma. But if you see through your body as a limited, you have to say it is Atma.
Right, yeah.
That is what we call it soul.
Yeah, maybe I just want to have one point, okay, maybe. it
But
might,
will that survive as a separate entity?
Everything is surviving. Awareness doesn't it survive?
One thing I wanted to
Can you
actually make
kill
a very
awareness?
important point here, okay, so.
Can you destroy awareness?
No.
Huh? So awareness, when we call it as Atma, how can awareness be destroyed?
Yeah.
So that pointed limitation can take different shapes.
This light will go off, doesn't mean the fire has gone. The interim has gone. The body is the interim for the functions.
From the functions, right?
When that is gone, the functioning stops. That doesn't mean the Atma stops.
Yeah, so I have one question actually, maybe like kind of a doubt or maybe whatever it is, but this is what exactly the first hand experience for me. So it was just like a very small moment in my life where I could able to sense that within just risk of a second, I can be out of this particular body. And it's just a subtle breath. Very minute subtle breath. So I had reached to that particular point wherein I had like a total control over it, wherein I can be out of it or I can be, but I choose to be back. That's what it is. And that is what I call it as a prana. Maybe I am not sure, maybe you can answer.
So was that experience in some overwhelming time or?
No, I have no thought actually. Like there was no thought, even I don't even have that particular thought. It was just, I know it actually, it happened.
Yes.
Right, it is only in my knowing.
What you call that is an aberration of miracle, what I say.
Right.
Shivaji, as far as experiencing is concerned, so I believe Hemanji has had
Even
certain
when,
experiences.
even when Anand says this thing, was the experiencer who was knowing this coming and outer going thing different from what he experienced?
I just know it actually, but I couldn't able
He
to put
was
it.
still there.
I was there, and I know.
That is the reality, not the coming and going. It is just like that we know we are breathing. How much of time you remember you are breathing?
And I'm very sure it is not experience.
Only when I say you will remember that you are
Right,
breathing, right? But it happens otherwise. Something similar. But the experiencer, the awareness is never diminished, never going out, never coming in. It is there everywhere. It is like the fire and the lamp, a spot where we feel the individuality in the awareness. That is a spot where the awareness lights up an aspect of individuality. That is in the mind. And mind is a matter.
And that is the original flaw that we are trying to attack. Right?
Yes. And that is the mind which is catching hold of you
Right.
to do all the things which you are doing.
Chit Jada Granthi or whatever
Yes.
they call it.
So here is another way of looking at it. All these things require instrument. Like when you are experiencing, experiencing is through the instrument called body,
Right.
through the eyes, through the ears, and so on. But then at the second level, you look at the instrument itself. Like when you know that you are looking through the eyes, that knowing is now requiring a different tool now. If you know you are hearing, now that's a different tool.
Right.
Does it make sense that you have a different tool now? That you know that you are hearing? In the sense that a camera is not seeing. You know for sure that there is nobody in the camera who is seeing. You get my point? So like that, when you look at the tool itself, now you have another tool within you to look at that tool.
So then that Muji's method of perceiver of the perception comes.
Precisely.
So then you have to go back to the.
So now when you truly so at any point of time you remember that you are always on the perceiver side, and you can always see the tool. Every time you can see the tool. Irrespective of what that tool is,
Right.
you will be able to see that tool.
Upadesha Saram has one stanza which says, "Can the perceiver ever be perceived?"
Precisely.
It's
So
not-
the question then is that which side are you? Are you on the perceiver side or are you ever on the perceived side?
you are never on the perceived side. I think.
Now then the question is that if you ever become perceiver, irrespective of the tool, then what is your nature then? At a very fundamental level, what is your true nature? When you say I, when you invoke that word called I, what should it refer to? Is it like, something physical? Is it a property? Is it some subtle thing but still a thing? So what do you assign that I to? There's nothing left to assign it to. And you only know it through its own nature, which is existence and bliss and Sat, Chit and Ananda. The three things are the only things which are available to you. But even they are also seen. Because even they are also in a way created. Right? The only thing you cannot reduce them to anything else. All the three things are actually the first things to get created. You know. Even the capability to say something is true or false itself is created at some level. Because you have freedom to say something is true or false.
That's beyond your nature.
No, awareness has got a quality which is called self-referral. Awareness can be aware of itself.
Yes, but that is also seen.
Self-referral.
Yes, but that itself is also seen by the same awareness. It may be called as self-referential. Okay.
Yeah.
But when you reference
But
it that way,
you cannot say that awareness cannot.
no,
be
no, no.
aware
But
of
remember
anything.
that you can only self-reference it in the past, not in the present. What you reference to is always gone, past. Because you only from memory you can say that.
No, the self-referral thing can happen on a continual basis.
No, but that which is pointing to is
The
gone.
moment when you know it, the moment when you say it, it becomes past. It's very
very interesting, and you have to be in the present to know this. There is no way to know it other than just being it, nothing else. You have no choice.
In the present, there is only being. There is
Exactly.
nothing else other than just the being.
I have one question.
Yes, please.
Right now, I exist. I know that there is no doubt for me. But maybe some 3-4 months back, I met Bindoji. Before that, I am certainly say that because I know that I am 100% I can say that I was watching through my mind. You know, the mind watches the mind. I was in that level actually, and somehow the situation happened with Bindoji, and he made me recognize that still I exist, but not in here actually. But now I stuck in I exist. Where I exist, I really don't know. Means if I search here, I don't find here. If I search here, I don't find here. But I exist, but I am constantly struggling to find myself.
The moment you use the word I, it will be experienced only in the mind.
Yes.
But if you are talking about the existence awareness, it is without the I. Like the fire. Every spot has got fire. Only thing is that conditions are not favorable, so there is no fire. If you set fire on the table, it will start burning, right? Everything that way, whether it is glass or metal or anything, can catch fire. Only thing is that it's not, condition is not favorable. So when you see a lamp, you say that there is fire in the lamp, or kitchen in the cooking, there is a lamp. That doesn't mean fire is not present in everything. Space. Now you look at the space.
Yes, it is seen.
Without space, can you tell me one object or one atom?
We cannot say.
It must. Same is the case of awareness. But the moment you say, I know awareness, I am awareness, you are bringing an instrument to identify that awareness within myself.
Maybe it's becoming. I am.
No. The awareness is the same. It is just like that. The space in this room is now this space room.
No, I will tell my experience. Means my this one. It's like every time I see, I go one step behind actually. I see, I just switch back. I see, I switch back like that.
That is, you are still using your mind to do that.
Maybe I am struggling.
You are
I am
using
feeling
your mind to see that. It can never be seen. Because any time when you are seeing, there is the seer or the perceiver of that always present.
And another next part I will tell. Sometimes I get a lot of tiredness and suddenly a sort of relaxation will happen. It is not in my control.
That's by your mind.
It is like all of a sudden some relaxation will attack me. Like even I cannot control that relaxation.
What a word you are using. Relaxation attacks me.
I have experienced what you are saying.
Yeah, because I feel like that.
It's your mind.
In Ramana Maharshi satsangs I have had that. So
It's your mind.
after
Everything
bhajans and satsangs, right? So suddenly you become so. You feel as though I cannot even control my body. So it's kind of what he is saying, relaxation.
There
Kind
are
of
people
times.
who feel that they're sitting, then they are levitating. They know that they are not levitating. They cannot levitate because they are not like water. But they have the experience of levitating. Why? That is the mind.
Everything is.
No, I mean, I think experientially so many different things are possible. And I think it in turn depends upon, like, how much attachment is there to the entities within the mind and so on. If that reduces somehow, then this lightness and these kind of feelings will come. But at the end of the day, they are still feelings in the sense that, like, they are just experiences.
Like I wanted to take 1 minute from what Anandji was saying, right? So there is this president of Ramana Ashram in US. So he used to head the New York Ashram. 2 years back he sent an email and he vanished. But that guy, his name is Dennis Hartle. When he was 19-year-old, he was in Vietnam War.
Yes, sir.
And then suddenly a bomb blew beside him. And then he had this very strong feeling of out of the body experience, wherein he saw his body and all. So he came back from.
Whoever is questioning, not for me.
Okay.
Nothing new in it.
So were those overwhelming experiences or in the normal?
Just like that.
See, it is just like that. You are seeing a dream.
Right. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So that probably kind of disturbed him, and then he came back, started serving the Ramakrishna Ashram, then finally ended with
That's because
Ramana.
he has not analyzed it.
Okay.
When he has analyzed it, he would have been able to reconcile with that it is a projection of the mind.
Projection.
No, Bindoji, when you say you have not analyzed that. So this way, in this place only I got that actually.
Yeah.
Like when I heard you are saying you have not yet analyzed, then I started thinking, who is this analyzing? This is knowledge is analyzing, because without knowledge I cannot analyze.
Awareness, not knowledge.
Not knowledge.
Awareness.
But Bindoji helped him, right? He ended up with Ramana Maharshi, and he was considered as one of the greatest disciples of Ramana Maharshi. So it kind of
The world, what it takes,
Physical
should
world
be
actually.
material. Finally, what you are going to take for your life, that is the only one. Even if you become the president of US, it really doesn't make any difference.
right. He was the only one who
You will
told
find
me,
the experience for yourself.
whenever he went to Adi Shankaraj Peeta and all, he has this overwhelming silent feeling of
All
silence.
mind.
All mind. So do you have any overwhelming feeling of silence when you go to temples and all?
I don't know. I felt that I ridiculed myself. I said that it is an experience. Because experiencer, I was different from the experience.
But you did go through like attack of relaxation.
As I told him, it's an analysis which I did. Every experience you need to analyze.
So you had an attack of relaxation when you went to a particular temple, and then you were able to watch it.
I was sitting, this happened in what you call Tirunelveli. I was working there for 2.5 years. I went to a famous Shiva temple. Did all this protection, and there is that Nataraja Murti and all. I came and sat there. There was a Tamil dark person with white beard and all those things sitting there. Normally we do the temple, now when we go and the thing we sit for some time before we come out of the temple. Like that I was sitting there. This man stands sitting by the side, started murmuring. So as என்ன சாமி, I asked him in Tamil, என்ன சாமி, தம்பி நீ ரொம்ப யோசிக்கிற, அதுதான் உன்னோட ப்ராப்ளம். Brother,
You think too much.
brother, you are thinking too much, that is your problem. He said that, that's all. I don't know him, he doesn't know me. Just said that. Then I didn't want to sit there. See, when he says that, I don't want to sit there. Because I can't stop thinking. Right? I got up and came back. But then I thought, let me take his photograph. Not even 1 minute. I just turned around to see, take his photograph, he's not.
The message delivered.
Miracle.
Right.
You never know when the
I didn't give any importance to that because
So what you are saying is giving importance to such phenomena is
such
going to
phenomena
corrupt.
you can prop up it as if you had a vision, you had Shiva himself present here as an old man, gave me advice and all those. That story I can make up. I didn't make up any story.
It's similar to damsels being sent to Buddha or some enlightened person at the end, right? So all these Hindu stories, they send.
Another event which I told is that, say Tirunelveli, I was going to office. That time I was reading Mandukya for the second time.
No, I thought this was the first experience.
Yes,
of science.
when I told that. The seventh mantra, Nanda Prajnana Prajnana. And that was in my mind and running, and I was walking toward the office. It's just only walking distance, about 15 minutes walk. Suddenly, one rag picker stopped me and asked, "Kambi, time and actually. What is the time?" Looked at my watch and said that 5 to 9:30. Because 9:30 is my office. 5 to 9:30. He laughed. இந்த சமயம் உனக்கா எனக்கா இந்த ஊருக்கா இந்த உலகத்துக்கா? Is this time for you, for me, or for this whole wide universe? That was something like a Buddhist kovan for me. My mind got numb. My mind got numb. And I never realized how long I have been standing until when I was awake, came to the awareness, and I looked my time. It was almost 25 minutes, 30 minutes. I had to reach office before half an hour. And I was looking for this man who asked me the question. I couldn't find him anywhere. So these type of things are things which you are propelled to go out of your mind. So that gave me the idea that all these things are in the mind. The time, that person, my experience, everything. Is that what you said? No, the deep sleep. Standing there in the middle of the road, I experienced for half an hour. I was not there.
The time is required. Even in these phones and all, the first thing they put is a clock.
No. So like his point is different basically. I think like he's not trying to make it. Everything is there within the mind itself. Okay. So you, in the moments, you will be propelled to go out of your mind. So, but the thing is, our job is to always to be in the consciousness. Try to get it out and come back. Analyze the situation rationally, rather than actually giving a lot of significance to it. Please correct me.
Every experience is analyzed. That's all my request.
Exactly.
Don't get carried away by the experience, object, or the beauty and the realness of it. You are the one who is looking at it.
Right.
What is your nature?
And that nature is totally propertyless.
That is your true nature. That is the truth.
That's the truth.
That is what Ramana Maharshi is also asking.
Right.
Who are you?
Right.
That question.
So I think that acceptance that that is a true nature can come experientially sometimes, but I think it is much more strong when it comes through this awareness itself, right? Through knowledge of it, by like looking at this in this particular way.
Yeah, that question which numbed me didn't last more than 25 minutes. As you said, no, it should not never go. That experience should remain permanently, right? No, it's not like that. When we are in waking, we will have the waking experience. When we are in dream, we will not have waking, but we will have dream experience only. When we are in deep sleep, we will have only deep sleep experience, neither the waking nor the dream. That doesn't mean we are not there. We are the same one which is going through the avatar.
The Turiya is always there.
Yeah.
Again, that Turiya discussion is much more involved. Okay, don't conclude anything about it.
The simplest way to see this is one individual experience can never be anything. It is simple. Individual is now nobody. Universal is God. Okay, they say like that. That means if can you look at a holistic picture of all your experience, like even in gutter, your experience of a gutter and your experience of something great. That once your picture gets universal.
That's what I was asking Kumarji today. So I will ask you. So do you have that experience of the awareness right now?
No, I can never have. All my sum
No,
of all
I say
my.
I have it. Right now I can
Everyone
feel-
has it.
Everyone has it,
The thing is that
actually,
you
they don't
ask the
realize it.
question, that question is itself is leading a question. Are you having an experience? Mean he should feel something different from himself.
Exactly.
Can he?
It is
He was
simply-
expressing
No, but I think this
very
was
much
a matter of
denying
speech,
it.
I think.
It's
So
a
I understand
universal
what you are
thing.
saying, but
It is the verse in which you want to see that. You are trying to see it as an object even now when your question was there.
because lack of language or so it's a matter of speech. I want to ask him.
Even if there is a matter of language,
Right.
there is a hidden question there. Are you experiencing it as an object?
It's impossible.
It is impossible.
And it's not also momentary experience, right? It has to be your
Experience means you are experiencing something.
You're already
In
limited.
you, there is only knowing, no experiencing.
basically a timeless kind of thing. It has to be universal.
Ahasmi sadabhami kadachit naham apriyaha.
Once you make it,
Brahmaivaha madasiddham sachidananda. Aham asmi, I am. Sadabhami is always there in everything. Stone to human beings to devatas to plants. Kadachit naham apriyaha. Nobody becomes hatred to himself. Not the physical body or the any. That aham asmi is never apriya to anyone. Nobody can stop it.
See, the first statement you made, I used to hear that when I was a kid, but that is to cause a lot of confusion. Like they used to say, oh, God is in your nails and He's everywhere, right? So that is a very confusing statement, I think, especially for the logical
Because you
mind.
did not know what is God,
Right.
right?
So I think it should be, it's the reverse. Everything is within the infinite awareness. I don't like the word God.
Don't use-
Right, so
Don't use the word
everything-
God.
right,
Who wants the word God? I
right,
don't
right.
want the word
So
God.
everything is within the infinite awareness. So if you say infinite awareness is in the chair and all, so then the mind will start mapping, creating concepts. Because
If there is no
actual,
if there is no awareness, can this table be aware to you?
no,
No, no.
right.
It is aware. It is having the property called awareness, because of which its presence,
No,
awareness, existence, and awareness is a quality which I am using my mind. The I being the awareness, using my mind, use the mind to have the experience of the existence and awareness. Just as awareness using my eye uses to sense what is light. It's an instrument. So you cannot say the awareness is not everywhere. Existence, awareness. Can you tell me something which is existing without awareness? It is not aware. It is not aware. It is not existence. Is there
make
a,
it in the
the
kettle.
moment it is means it is come into existence,
Right.
right? Even before you say not, it is has to become before. Therefore, existence and awareness are not two separate.
So you are saying they are not separate. I was trying to put a thesis saying awareness is prior and
No.
existence is. So you are saying both
They-
take
they are
place
the
at
same.
They are the same.
You call it as existence means you are aware of it. If you are aware of it, you will say it is there. What is the difference?
So basically they arise together.
That
Simultaneously.
is why Sat and Chit are not separate.
In that Updesh Saram, na, Sattaya hi Chit, Chittaya hi Aham. Sat is Chit, and Chit is who I am. Updesh Saram you were talking about.
Upadesaram, so I consider that as the Bible.
If you read Upadesha Saram, you're done actually. Like how Mandika Upanishad, if you read, you're done. It's like that.
So who is going to tell their previous birth experience?
No, this is
Vinodji, you said something like the quality of this truth, awareness is Chitananda. Is this experience? Chitananda is experience?
It is more than that actually. It is witnessing, I can say. You know, so it is.
Because why I am saying is that, so in mind perspective, I am thinking like, if if it is Satchitananda is experience, I certainly know that, right? There is no need to ask any question for that. If I am established in awareness, I am Satchitananda, I must know myself.
If you're asking the question means you have a doubt in your own existence.
Now, what is the doubt about it?
No, it's an experience.
Yeah,
Is it
that experience.
No, don't take it as an experience in normal sense of the term. What you need to understand is that, like the pure awareness actually is nothingness in a way. It has no, it cannot leave any trace.
That will come into picture.
It cannot leave any trace.
Okay.
But the first trace, if you consider what it leaves,
Exactly.
are the three things. One is that you have physical experiencing, like what you see around, for example, through the five senses. And the second one is like, that you have this truthfulness, where you know something and you don't know something and you know something about something, this knowingness business basically. And the third aspect is that there is this ananda, that you being like, either simply blissful or happy or sad or this or that aspect of the thing which is then attached to this whatever you are experiencing. So these three together are like, the Satchit and Ananda. That's how at least I interpret it. Now they arise simultaneously in the sense that like, all the three have to exist for you to have so-called experience ultimately. If you break the experience, these are the three elements of the experience anytime. Then the variations are then too many. It's like painting, The three colors you can create any kind of painting. So these three ingredients are required for the life to happen.
So there is a lot of doubt about the word Ananda. As human beings, we know Ananda is only happiness.
Yes.
The Ananda of Satchidananda is not different from Sat and Chit. Why it is Ananda called Ananda in the Shastra is that when anything other than something is there, that limits the first one. The second one limits the first one. Therefore, his own being alone, limited by the second one, is diminishing his Ananda. Right? So, I am the only king in the world. I have nobody else to challenge me. My Ananda is the highest. But the moment I know, one island which I have not even known existed, and there is a king there, the moment I know that, I become careful that if he is stronger than me or whether he will attack me or anything, my Ananda got diminished. But just by knowing that there is somebody else. Right? And Satchidananda, the Satchidananda which we are talking about, there is only one. Ekam Sat. Ekameva Advitiyam. And in that, there is nothing to diminish its strength. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Mudanamudachiti. That is exactly what it is saying. Everywhere it is there is nothing, even an iota, to challenge or to diminish it, because everything is in awareness. Everything is awareness. In space, everything appears, doesn't reduce the space. Space is unchallenged. There is nothing to reduce the challenge the space. Because everything which appears in space is depending upon the space. Same way, everything which we are experiencing as objects and experiences are nothing but objects in awareness. They need awareness for their existence. So awareness is never challenged. Even space needs awareness to exist. Only we are aware of space, therefore space exists. In the deep sleep, we were not aware of the deep space, right? But we were aware of our own existence. So that is the kind. The Ananda word has to be understood from that point of view, that it is the absence of second one to reduce the happiness, it is called Ananda. And therefore it is Ananda also, it is infinite also.
And it is unconditional as well. So there cannot be any condition which can actually diminish it. So that's the very reason you are into permanent happiness. It's like permanently you are there in that state. So nothing in this world can actually take you down from that particular thing. No situation. If you are losing your body, you are losing your mother, you are losing anything, right? Like you are not losing anything because you know the eternal.
So, Bindoji, can you say knowing is being
No, but is not knowing a property of the being, like Bhagavan
No, do you
says,
think the being is a bodily thing? Then what you said is right.
no, not the bodily thing, the original awareness.
Original awareness doesn't limit anywhere, no.
Right,
Where will you limit that being?
right.
Being means it has got a
It
limitation.
has a limitation, okay. Like Facebook has this new metaverse thing, right? So the whole thing works because of the knowing property, because they are able to create a totally like the dream, similar to dream. So all the five senses together have to report to this original. All you need is one knowing as a basic property, like all these
But
artificial.
Facebook is not infinite. Because there are people like me who are never in Facebook.
Right. No, I'm talking about the property of knowing. Property of knowing. So these days the big thing is they're coming up with this headgear, where you can
Augmented reality.
yeah, so augmented reality kind of. Yeah, so basically it's quite cheap. It's like $300,
Yeah.
but you can experience being in a different. You can fly to Alaska, right? So basically
Yeah, yeah.
they are tapping your
All that
all
is.
the-
So right now, at least we know that it is separate from us.
right.
In one day in future, it will come glued as soon as you have birth. Okay.
Right.
So once it kind of gets glued to your eyes from birth, because they find that augmented information is more important than the real information,
Right.
and then you will not even know that you are wearing that.
Right.
And that is the status currently, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Something is glued to us currently,
Exactly.
and we don't know that.
Right now.
Ha.
Right now, that thing is happening.
Yeah.
So we are actually already in the augmented reality, so this is not at all real. So, but yes, like we need to really like come out of this particular thing.
No, so how do you remove your goggles right now?
Right.
If you are wearing a goggle, how do you remove it?
First
You
we
try
have
to use your
aware that we are wearing
hand,
a goggle.
but that hand is a simulated one. It won't remove the goggle. It's not going outside the simulated reality. So how are you going to remove the goggle that if you are wearing one?
The who kept the goggles should remove that.
Hmm?
The who kept the goggles should remove it.
First, the awareness that we are wearing a
Not
goggle
from this side,
comes to
actually.
picture.
That should be from that side.
Yeah, that should be from that side, yeah.
Kept the goggle, that person should remove it.
But that is you only. That is you only. But you as what? You not as the current one, but you as your original self. Which is what you truly are. Awareness is what you are. And that is what we call as deconditioning.
No, can fire know it is fire? So you, suppose you are fire. You want to know you are hot. How do you figure it out?
Without a reference point to the pole, I cannot know that there is a.
So you need a reference. You want to get Ananda. You need a reference.